Let's take a look at the Superman official teaser trailer. All the noise has kind of died down now, so it's probably a good time to revisit and just look at this stuff. I mean, what can I tell you? First frame, I'm already kind of concerned. I'm already looking at some Man of Steel type of comparisons, which is concern number one. This movie is supposed to be a new iteration, something new, something different, something that the previous iteration didn't have. And as you're going to see in the trailer, there's going to be more than one occasion where you scratch your head, you think, hey, wait. Isn't this what the previous movies were doing? So I don't know. I have an impression of what this movie is going to be based on this trailer and based on what I know from the film. Some of it could work. A lot of it will probably not work. These are just my personal opinions, but um, the movie itself has there's concerns that I have in the movie. North Pole type of scenario. This thing here, I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but this looks incredibly cheesy or unfinished or poor done or not uh, impressive, which is something that happens quite a bit in the trailer for me. Um, this movie. There's lots of things here that I had suspected from before the trailer, but now I'm seeing in the trailer, in other set pictures or things that are coming out. And obviously, one of the biggest complaints that I'm seeing is the suit. The suit does not look good. Like I said before, it looks a bit like um, a motorcycle suit with a cape and underwear, and the underwear is a big no for me at this point. I'm okay with you know going back to the old DC logo. That's fine. That's no problem. But you still got to move forward, and this movie has some sort of um, nostalgia component to it, which it also contradicts with these updates that they do to the characters. So lots of things here to see. Obviously, as you can see, they are going back to a Donner type of interpretation of the character with Clark Kent being a total idiot. It clearly looks here like that the idea is to create a kind of a clumsy character to do this. I mean, it looks weird. It's not very convincing. If I see a guy like that, if I see someone like that in the street, I just gotta tell you that is some weird jock dude wearing some sort of wig and a costume and trying to pass for something else. Like this is like somebody in disguise. It's so in your face. I mean, if you look at him compared to everyone else, I know these are just background actors, but it's just it stands out. It looks completely odd. So that's potentially part of the aesthetic of the film itself. But I don't know basically what uh, what to make of it, and the sets they are looking a bit weird and it's kind of smallish. So I don't know really. I mean, the concerns are there of where the budget really is going for this movie, considering that pretty much all the actors are B-listers or even below that, and it's possible the marketing is basically where the cash is going for this movie, but the product itself, it's a bit concerning. Basically, what we're seeing. So a little bit of nostalgia redirection or nostalgia redux or refixing or the reintroduction or updating of nostalgia. That's kind of a paradox itself. I don't think some of these things can be celebrated in their own ways, but this is kind of like bringing the Donner movies into a sort of modernish concept. So you're taking the nostalgia and you're updating it, but that's not really a thing, and I don't think that's gonna work here. So that's another contradiction that I see in this movie, in that you kind of are bringing a sort of an idea that was there before and taking the romanticism from the ideas from that iteration and bring them into a modern context. But that's not what made them interesting. It's the specialty of that moment that made it interesting. Putting crypto in this movie kind of silly and I see what he's going for, and in all his movies there is sort of an emotional crutch of a character, which is always a cutesy looking animal, and that's definitely crypto in or whatever this is in this film. The way it looks like, the way it looks, it's not. I mean, I don't mind basically the look of the dog, but I just don't really think this is okay for a comic, but not for a movie. Here's another slow motion Zack Snyder type of comparison. Um, Not sure if I'm convinced with this guy as Lex. If again, if this is something unique, if this is something that was not being done before, because Superman can only be done one certain particular way, then this is not it. This guy with this sort of youngish features, it's playing a not even a Smallville Superman, but more sorry, Lex Luthor, but kind of what like the same criticisms that they had for the previous Lex Luthor with Jesse Eisenberg. Um, no offense, obviously, to any of the actors here. I mean, they're just doing their job. But um, when I see this, I don't find it. I'm not like too interested, and I'm not intrigued to see what's his backstory or what's happening here. So not that good. Super amateur shot. This whole thing about some sort of nation in wherever it is, and Superman being with the white savior and bringing characters from the authority, and there were some leaks about this being some sort of perhaps study or analysis or thought process into what it is to be a superhero in the context of governments, and how can you stay or should you be get involved in government matters, which is kind of a complex and difficult topic for newer audiences. That if the concept here is to make something super simplistic or super easy for people to absorb, so you're bringing something that's maybe a little bit more complicated than what the audience that you're going for. Not saying that they cannot handle it, but it's just if you're gonna go and do something, you are not doing it here. You're going in multiple directions to obtain it. So um, when I say this movie looks cheap, looks bad, and I criticize the production of it, is because of stuff like this. This guy has no business in being in these kinds of movies, and much less being a character um, like Guy Gardner. So I mean, everything about it looks cheap. It looks. I mean, it could be a comedic character for all I care, but this is not that interesting, and it gives you this sort of sense that this movie, in a way, is the Donner's films, adjusted to a Guardiansy type of dynamic with 1980s comic book characters of the lighter parts of the 1980s. So, which was not a decade that was defined by its lightness, but more for its serious tone. So, to me, this is just it's not that interesting. I don't know what's happening here. What the excuses for this kind of scene where the world is coming apart because whatever the parasite, is devouring the life energy source or whatever it is. I know they're trying to sell like some love story between Lois and Superman, but to me, this doesn't land. This looks like a TV, like an episode of a TV show of some sort. I'm not. Everything I see from the shots, it looks very kind of. It looks like a Netflix or a CW kind of breed of production, and it's concerning to me because this is a high budget film, and it looks very cheap to me. Everything about this looks not very detailed and very um, done in a very generic way. So obviously, Fortress of Solitude and all these things, that's great, that's fine, but it's not really what I am thinking about when I want to watch a movie like Superman in the current context. So this whole thing is, a very safe solution or a very safe kind of movie, but at the same time, um, there was another Snyder or two more Snyder comparisons. So I mean, this movie is looking a bit cheesy. Is looking a bit not very detailed. It's starting to, trying to devour a sense of nostalgia that didn't work for the Flash, and the cinematography looks kind of like the Flash, um, and you're mixing different things. You're saying the Superman from before shouldn't have been, because now we're making the definitive Superman because there's only one way to do it. And then you're touching back on things that were done before and trying to do them yourself in a sort of way to say, hey, I can do it better, which I can already tell you, sorry, but no. And additionally, you're trying to cater to these people that don't want to see that, but they want to see the nostalgic aspect exclusively. I see what they're doing, and they're trying to fit everything. This is like a kind of like a brute force approach that I don't think it works for DC in particular in these kinds of movies, because the movie, I feel it's, what are you guys doing? You're trying to make something extremely mass appeal. Well, you're putting things here that they're not interested, or they may be, something that remove this mass appeal from the movie. But at the same time, who are you marketing this to as well? Who is really interested in this? I don't know. I was expecting something of much higher quality than what we're seeing here. Maybe the trailer it will improve, but so far not impressed. Not concerned. I think the movie could make some money, but this movie better perform as a blockbuster. I mean, you bring James Gunn to do it. You give him a large budget and the Superman property. This is expected to perform like a big blockbuster. I don't see that in this movie, something that wows people and says, "Hey, I want to see it because this is a cool story, or because this is some super high-end production." No, it's neither one. So, bit disappointed to see that after everything that's happened in the last couple of years, that this is one of the results, like the only movie that we're gonna be seeing for a while from DC. Not so sure. That's my opinion on the whole thing, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you around.